Boy, there's a lesson in all of this, for all of us. And who can't hear will feel, like my granny used to say. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. Just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell next to the subscribe button as we continue to follow this particular case and others like it. So we will follow this all the way through to when this person is sentenced and doing their time, and we will be able to tell you what facility in the United States of America they will be held in. We're talking about the police officer from Jamaica who got caught in the United States of America. Okay, so we covered this, and up to this point, she was charged. Right now, she has been before the judge again, and now she has pled guilty to all the drug charges. Let's not forget, there are other charges pending over her head. So we're just going to talk about the drug charge first, and then we're going to tell you about what else is coming for Shelian. I remember her grandfather saying, "No, not my Shelian." Yes, Grandpa, you're Shelian. So we covered this on Morning Thoughts, but Morning Thoughts is an hour and a half to 2 hours long, and we normally cover about 4 to 5 different topics, so people miss that. So we single it out with more information this time. This is taken from the justice.gov site, the United States of America government court system information site. Jamaican police officer used her body to smuggle over 1,000 grams of cocaine from Jamaica to South Florida. That was about 3 pounds of cocaine. Miami, Florida. The news says that police officer from Jamaica has pled guilty now to federal district court in Fort Lauderdale to importing cocaine into the United States. Don't get it confused. She has other charges. We're going to talk about her scamming charges. Her scamming charges are different from her drug charges. As part of her guilty plea, 42-year-old Shelian Cherine Allen, a Jamaican citizen, admitted the following: that on February 3rd, that she arrived in Fort Lauderdale International Airport on a flight from Montego Bay, Jamaica. She admitted in court that an inspection by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, revealed that she had packages of cocaine inside her vagina and packages of cocaine inside each of her bra cups. She also admitted in court that she had 90 pellets of packaged cocaine inside of her stomach, which she had swallowed voluntarily. Nobody didn't force her to swallow it. She told them that she swallowed it voluntarily. CBP officers took her to the hospital where she expelled all 90 pellets. She pooped them out. In total, she had over 1,000 grams of cocaine on or inside of her body when she entered the United States. How do you plead to this? The judge asks. She said guilty. About 200 of that was in her vagina, about 143 grams of that were in her bra, and about 690 grams of that was inside of her stomach. This is exactly how it's written on the court papers. At the time of her arrest, she was a law enforcement officer, a veteran law enforcement officer of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. United States District Judge Rodolfo A. Ruiz II will sentence her on June 15th at 1:30 p.m. in a federal court in Fort Lauderdale. She now faces up to 40 years in federal prison. You notice we have not talked about her scamming charges yet. She faces up to 40 years on drug charges alone. I think it's safe to say that she won't be seeing Jamaica again for a long time. You know, they give people numbers here in prison where it's better off that they had killed somebody, because murderers get less time than you have people in prison in the United States of America for drugs that are doing more time than people who have committed murder. Put it that way. Juan Antonio Gonzalez, United States Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, and Anthony Salisbury, Homeland Security Investigator, Miami Field Office, made the announcement. HSI, or Homeland Security Miami, investigated the case. CBP assisted in the matter. Assistant U.S. Attorney William T. Shockley is prosecuting the case. Related court documents and information for this case may be found in the district court's website, because they will be keeping us posted, and I will be keeping you posted here on SouFLoTV. So hit that subscribe button so you will hear June 5th when it comes around at 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon. She will learn her fate. Now, please understand that there is more to it than this. Remember, they were not on her for drugs before. They had been investigating her from 2019 into 2020. From 2019, they had sights on her for lottery scamming, not for drugs, for lottery scamming. Lottery scam alleged mastermind arrested in the U.S. for $1.69 million fraud case is a Jamaican cop, is what that headline had said. Now check this out. $1.69 million. We're not talking about Jamaican dollars, my friend. We're talking about 1.69 million US dollars. So if you want to say that Shelian did a choppy line big, yeah man, she did a chop it big. A Jamaican police officer arrested in the US on Friday and accused of being the mastermind of a lottery scamming fraud operation that preyed on elderly and vulnerable American citizens. People who lived alone, people who were up in age, people who had dementia and Alzheimer's and were easy to trick and manipulate. The law says that she preyed on these types of people, and she had links here in the United States of America that worked with her as well, and links in Jamaica as well. Shelian Cherine Allen is only 42 years old. She's been charged now. Forget her drug charge. We already know what she got charged for with drugs. Here are her additional charges. She's been charged with conspiracy to commit fraud by wire and conspiracy to commit fraud by mail. Prosecutor says that she was the ringleader of a criminal group which they call the Allen Lottery Scheme Organization. It is known in law enforcement as the ALSO case. ALSO, Allen Lottery Scheme Organization. When time they put your name as the ringleader, oh man, you're talking about like RICO charges, okay? RICO charges is what they actually invented and used to bring down the mob, to bring down mob bosses. Because you couldn't hold the mob boss, you would get the underbosses and you would get the workers, and they would get charged. Well, they started to use that law to bring down mob bosses. So the leader of the organization would be the one that ended up with racketeering charges and money laundering charges and conspiracy charges. And those charges are kind of hard to beat, right? According to criminal complaint filed in the U.S. District Court for Eastern Division of Wisconsin. Remember, her drug case is in Florida. She got caught at the airport at Fort Lauderdale International Airport. This scamming case is filed in Wisconsin. So right now we're hearing that she's pled guilty to her drug case. She's facing 40 years. She's supposed to be sentenced on June 5th of 2022 in Florida. I'm wondering now if she will then be transported to Wisconsin to face the scamming charges. She's an 18 years police veteran of the Jamaica Constabulary force, and at the time when she was arrested, she was actively a police officer in Jamaica. She was detained by federal agents as she landed on a flight from Montego Bay into the U.S. She had been under surveillance, and she had made frequent trips to the United States of America, says the affidavit. Also, she's accused of defrauding more than 20 elderly Americans of at least $1.69 million. The investigator leading this, said that is how much they were able to tell on paper. They were able to track. He's pretty sure that there is more, but what will stand up in court is not how much more you can think or suggest, is how much they can prove. And they can prove on paper 1.69 million, but he's sure that it was more. The group used telemarketing techniques to find victims who they would dupe into believing that they had won a extra amount of cash, but it was non-existent. I don't know how the thing go already. You get that one phone call and they say, "Hi, this is James Simpson calling with the Publishers Clearinghouse. You have won 18 million US dollars. You are our lucky winner today." And the person on the other end, if they have Alzheimer's, dementia, or they're greedy, or they really think that it's that easy to win like $18 million, they get all excited, right? A number of factors goes into this. At the end of the day, they're able to get these people to send them money. So in order for us to get your $18 million into your bank account, you will have to forward 500 US dollars to this account, and it will pay your taxes and free up your money, and your money will be in your account within 24 hours. And they go, and a lot of them actually do it. They chop them for bigger than that. $3,000, $10,000, $5,000, and people actually pay it. Because if I have to pay $5,000 to get $18 million, then the exchange is small, right? Only to find out that that was your last $5,000 and there is no $18 million. So anyhow, as is typical of such scams, the crooks told their victims that they have to pay an advance fee in order to release the winnings. And the people would normally pay these fees, claiming that it covers like insurance payments and taxes and customs duty payments and all these things. According to the complaint, listen to this. According to the complaint, a Milwaukee resident was cold called in the summer of 2019 by also operatives. Remember, also is the name they gave the case, right? Because it's Shelian's case, and that's the abbreviation of the also. Also meaning the Allen Lottery Scheme Organization. She is Shelian Allen. All right. They claim that a defendant was cold called in 2019. They claim to represent something called the Publishers Clearinghouse Lottery. The victim was told that they had won a house, a Mercedes-Benz, and $18 million. That's when it began. That's when the feds sank their hook into them. A Benz, a house, and $18 million. The cops did not stop there though. Read the complaint and you will see that victim number one received calls day and night. They were very persistent, the report says. These are the details of the report. They were very persistent. Also, claiming to be lottery representatives for the lottery they claim that she won. So one person would call her and say, "Yes, I'm here to inform you that you've won." And another person would call back and say, "Yes, I'm a representative from the Publishers Clearinghouse, just confirming your winnings," and make it look like a real, legit organization with multiple people at different levels calling you to confirm your winnings and so on and so forth. They continued to contact the victim, usually by phone, and they directed victim number one to send money in cash, postal money orders only, the personal and cashier's checks to different individuals in both the United States of America and in Jamaica. Ultimately, this victim sold their house so they could send the scammers 150,000 US dollars to claim the non-existent $18 million dollars and the Mercedes-Benz and the new house. Sold the house they were living in. These are the details of the other charges that this ex-police officer now, Shelian, is facing. Remember, She's already pled guilty to her drug case. She's facing 40 years on that, and that is in Florida. Scamming case is in Wisconsin, and that is going to be tried differently. According to federal authorities, Jamaican criminal groups have developed expertise. They've become experts in finding vulnerable victims overseas, which include the elderly and those with physical or mental disabilities. The scammers routinely involve other victims to facilitate the laundering of financial transactions by receiving and negotiating financial instruments, receiving and drawing funds from different bank accounts and transferring funds to either unknown victims or to fellow co-conspirators. So they have people a lot of the times working on the inside, like people inside the banks, people inside Western Union, people inside the police, law enforcement organization, people at different levels that will facilitate clearing these monies. So this goes deep. After learning of the Milwaukee victim, Wisconsin police contacted the FBI. The FBI started to follow the money trail since 2019. The particular case that got her in trouble was this case. This is when they started to follow her. This is when they started to dig and to see, okay, they're doing it to somebody else. They're doing it to somebody else. Okay, we've trailed 1.65 million so far. They're doing it to somebody else. Okay, time to reel her in because we're trying to find the big fish in this, and it seems like she is it. They identified her via a payment of 128,000 US dollars to one of her bank accounts. Allen was suspended by her employers at the Jamaica Constabulary Force immediately after her arrest. She had previously been suspended for corruption, but was reinstated last year after winning her case against the law enforcement agency. All this stuff is not known. Was it worth it? I'm sure if you ask Shelian right now, at 42 years, facing 40 years on just her drug charges alone, and they haven't brought the scamming charges to court yet. I'm sure if you ask her right now, was it worth it? I'm sure she would tell you, no, it was not worth it. I'm sure if you ask her, would you do it again? I'm sure she would tell you, no, I would not do it again. But she did a choppy line big. She had 128,000 US dollars in one deposit. I thought she would be wiser than that, because you can't move that much money into an account as a deposit without the feds paying attention to it. They want to know where you got so much money from. They want to know how you earned this money. They want to know that they had their fair share of taxes off of that 128,000 US dollars. And here she is now. We'll continue to follow this case. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Tell me what you think about this one. I hear one. I SouFLoTV. You don't know me do already. I always give out some advice like this. Go and go work. Alright? Sometime when you work 2 and 3 job, you might be struggling. It might hurt. You can't get good sleep. You barely pay the bills. But guess what? You're free. You're not in somebody's penitentiary for as long as the eyes can see. Catch you on the next video. Hit that subscribe button. I'm out. Peace.